Welcome to Show and Tell Saturdays on Tea Time with Afternoon Social. Join me as we hear from my guest for the week as she tells us about her business, products, services, podcasts, and other fun stuff. Grab your favorite cup of tea. It's party time. Good afternoon and welcome to Tea Time with Afternoon Social. I'm Teresa Lauterbach, your host, and we've had a fantastic guest the last couple of days. Her name is Jenny Cheifetz, and she is owner of Jentle Coaching, where she's a life coach and a breathwork facilitator. She lives in New Hampshire with her husband, 2 teenage children, and 2 boys. Jenny also leads a community of sports-loving women on Facebook. She's the podcast host of Sideline Sisters, an upcoming podcast she has going on, and where she's going to have candid conversations about everything sports. But today we're going to talk about her business, Jentle Coaching, and her community and what she's got planned for that podcast. So, hi, Jenny. How are you?
Excellent, Teresa. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so the name of your business is Jentle Coaching. So, tell us a little bit more about your coaching and the services that you offer and what that all entails.
Of course. So Jentle Coaching is the business, and I do life coaching, and I incorporate breath work into the coaching. I certainly will do just breath work if somebody wants that, or it can be part of the coaching process. And typically I work with women or athletes, teen or older athletes, in addition to families of athletes, because athletes are an interesting population, which is why I love sports. I love the whole dynamic of sports. That's why I started the Facebook group and the podcast. And sports families deal with a lot. The parents, oftentimes the moms, are typically doing a lot of the carpooling and the planning, the coordinating with coaches and teams and packing up and all of that, driving and arranging. And there's just a lot of stress on the athlete, balancing school and the emotions of winning, losing, feeling the pressure of what's to come, of this commitment. And I was just talking to a parent the other day who said their whole family revolves around the kids' sports, and that they haven't taken a family vacation in 5 or 7 years that hasn't been to a tournament. Oh. And the marriage revolves around sports. They have to negotiate. You're going with this kid, I'm going with this kid. They're both working parents, and it's who's taking on more of the load of the sports and dealing with the coaches and the finances of these team commitments. And it's, we look from the outside of what we see on Facebook of team pictures and, Tyler won this lacrosse tournament or this tennis match, and all we see are the pictures, the glory. Uh-huh. And she was explaining to me, if Tyler loses the game on Friday night, the family suffers all weekend long. And it gave me pause to realize. She said, I need a coach. I need a life coach for this. This is a lot for me. And so that's where I come in. I support not just the teen, but the mom, the family. And so I bring in tools like meditation, like visualization practices, like journaling, and like just, it could be talk, traditional talk, not talk therapy. I'm not a therapist, but it could just venting, that just expressing, allowing, like I had mentioned in a previous episode with you, that allowing the person to be seen and heard, which a lot of times a person does not feel they get to do. And that's what can happen in that coaching container. Yeah.
So then you've got a Facebook group that do you do some group coaching in there, or just tips? Or?
So the Facebook group is really just meant to be a lot of fun.
Okay.
For right now, it might evolve. We'll see what the needs are, but for right now, it is meant to be a fun place for sports lovers, sports loving women particularly, to come in and share their crazy sports loving stories, pictures, memes, facts, headlines, just anything that they want to share. So if they went to a game over the weekend and have a selfie, if they heard something nuts, I had heard a couple weeks ago, I had heard the story of, if anyone remembers Debbie Thomas, she was a Black female figure skater back in the 80s that I remember loving. I don't know if anyone remembers if you remember, she was in the Olympics, and I remember loving her, and she had done something recently up in Lake Placid, and so I posted that story. So that was kind of I posted a little video of Debbie Thomas hits the ice after 35 years. So just fun little stories like that. It could be anything about, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. It could be just fun stuff about sports. That is meant to be a fun, a fun location for people to go. And then the podcast, which will be launching in the new year, is going to be a place where I have conversations, mostly with women. I won't say exclusively, mostly with women, related to all aspects of sports. So it could be, I'm talking to an athlete, a mindset coach, a sports psychologist, an administrator in some front office or somewhere in collegiate athletics, friends, super fans. I have an Olympian coming on. I've talked to my best friend. Just it could be anything and everything. But I've had some really great conversations so far that some have been emotional, some have been funny, some have been educational, inspiring, just really the gamut, about various aspects of sports, whether it's professional sports, youth sports, college sports, Olympic sports. They could be playing sports, watching sports, going to sports, negotiating sports. I'd love to have an agent come on and talk about that. There's really just no end to what could be, but it's just an opportunity for me to sit around and talk about sports, because I find, Teresa, that if I'm in a situation where I'm talking about sports, it's, in my community at least, it's most likely with a man, and it's usually me having to sit through a conversation about statistics.
Right.
Or, who ran this many yards in the last Patriots game. And that's not the conversation I want to have.
Right. I've never been big on sports, but, and I raised two boys, and I ended up with granddaughters. And I didn't realize the big world that there is for sports for girls now. I have two of them have gotten into sports, and one has actually gotten into wrestling. And
wow.
I was like, that's pretty bizarre. So it's like, it would be interesting to hear some more about women in sports, because that seems like a quiet topic. Nobody has ever really touched on women in sports a lot because I don't think it hasn't been that big of a deal to what the 70s when women started really being known for being in sports. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and there really are some incredible women in sports that I would love to have on my show. There are some women-focused sports podcasts. Mm-hmm. They are a little like the male sports podcast. So there are some technical women sports podcasts. Right. Again, not what I'm focused on. I'm not looking to have a technical show.
Right.
I am looking to have more of a I shouldn't say lighthearted because I do get into some deeper issues, but just more conversational. I'm not looking to break down games, which are a lot of the shows out there that are like, let's do a Sunday recap, and I'm not doing that. So yeah, I am looking to have on other women podcasters, sports podcasters on, so I can, I'm happy to promote their shows and get their take on women in sports. And it is incredible. There's a lot. I mean, I live in New Hampshire, not far from Boston. And in a couple of years, we're going to have in Boston a women's professional soccer league.
Uh-huh.
And so, that's pretty exciting for fans of women's soccer. So right. Women's sports is growing. So that's a plus.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's more informational, more interesting to listen to the other sides of the sports realm, rather, like you said, rather than just the technical, the stats and
mental health is such an issue.
Yeah.
And I just love relationships, the connections, all those backstories, how did people get to where they are today, what went into becoming a professional athlete, or even just an elite athlete.
Right.
One of my guests was a professional basketball player, not WNBA, but on the European circuit, and learning what she did was fascinating.
Right.
I as a non-athlete, as certainly a non-basketball player, had no idea what that was all about. So it was just really interesting to learn about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a whole different world out there that we don't see, and it's great that you're going to be able to share some of that on your podcast.
Yes. So yeah, Sideline Sisters. It's me sitting on the sideline learning about sisters.
Sitting at the game together, talking about.
Yep. Because that's what I like to do. I just sit on the sideline, munching on my popcorn, and enjoying how other people have worked really hard to get where they are.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know if there's anything else you'd like to leave with our audience today.
I'm on Instagram at Jentle Coaching. That's with a J for Jenny. I like to clarify that so people aren't misspelling anything. Jentle Coaching, my website, Instagram, Facebook, everything can be found there. Sideline Sisters is the Facebook page, or the Facebook group, and the podcast, and it's all coming soon. So stay tuned.
Very good. Well, thank you for joining us on this extended weekend. And if you haven't checked out the other 2 episodes, go back and check those out because we've had a great time together. And so thank you again, Jenny, and maybe we'll connect with you later. So thanks for being here. Bye-bye.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.